Hey guys, welcome back to YPW, the home of all things professional wrestling. Make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed to the channel, make sure you turn on notifications as we are releasing new videos. From her time in the Indies to her time in NXT, to being one of the major elements of the women's revolution and more, allow me to tell you the story of a woman known as Bayley. If you've been watching WWE the last several years, you'll be aware of a woman named Bayley. And while that is the name she goes by in the WWE, she was born Carmella Rose Martinez. Martinez grew up in the Bay Area suburb of Newark, California, to a Mexican-American father and an Anglo-American mother. She attended Independence High School in San Jose and once played as captain of the school's basketball team, but obviously, her destiny was she was going to be wrestling. And I don't mean that as she eventually realized her passion was wrestling. No, she knew early on that she was born to do this. Martinez had been attending shows by Big Time Wrestling, a professional wrestling promotion in Northern California, since she was 11. In April 2008, she started her professional wrestling career at the age of 18 by attending Big Time Wrestling's training classes by her head trainer, Jason Styles, which was one of the reasons why Martinez considered Big Time Wrestling as her home promotion. She had her first match in September 2008. On the American Independent circuit, Martinez wrestled under the ring name Davina Rose. Rose wrestled for Big Time Wrestling from 2008 to 2012. Between 2011 and 2012, Rose branched out to wrestling for other promotions such as NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, Pro Wrestling Destination, and Shine Wrestling. Eventually, she would go on to Shimmer Wrestling, which is an all-women's wrestling promotion that has produced numerous superstars over the years, including many who have gone to WWE. It was here that she met her wrestling mentor, Serena, a former WWE superstar herself, and worked with her and others in Shimmer for some time. She started as a tag team wrestler, but worked her way up to being a solid singles wrestler, showing her skills and talent in the ring. This eventually led her to the most important signing of her life, being with WWE. But not WWE proper, to be clear. WWE has been a lot of things over the years, including going from one show to two to three, back to two main shows, and lots of smaller shows, and so on and so forth. One of the things that they tried to do was make a reality wrestling show called NXT, where they would showcase the next wave of talent in a competition that would eventually have them get brought up to the main roster. While in good theory, the fans weren't having it, especially the ones who had been watching some of the wrestlers for years and knew that they didn't need to be trained to do anything. However, eventually, NXT got reborn from the inside out with wrestling legend Triple H taking reins and making this a full-on mini production that would truly highlight the next generation of WWE talent. NXT took over for former development brand FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling, and it was here that they started to truly take over. By the time that 2012 and Davina Rose came around, NXT proper, which is still on to this day, was in full swing. They even had their own women's title that Davina would fight for. But when she came to NXT, she had many different names and faces. She even had her debut match as a luchadora, a female masked wrestler, and only after that did she take the name Bayley. A few matches later, she adorned what is her most famous persona via being the doe-eyed fangirl, who is all about hug life and being the face of the fans and the love that is wrestling. This babyface vision of Bayley well and truly started at the bottom of the brand. If you look up some of her opponents, you'll see that she had no business losing to some of them. But slowly and surely, Bayley started to become a big name. Just as important though, she started to resonate with the fans. Whether she won or she lost, she had the support of the fans behind her. She was even the reason that one of the fans of NXT, a girl named Izzy, is famous now. She was Bayley's biggest fan, got a lot of attention and fame because she was at NXT every week, and now hosts her own show on Twitter with a lot of followers. Just goes to show you the influence that someone like Bayley has with her fans. And this led to something very important that was going to be a game changer for WWE in the years to come. You see, WWE at the time didn't put a lot of stock in women's wrestling. They saw the women as objects to look at versus athletes that deserved to wrestle. This happened for a very long time, and they used the eye candy to get ratings and nothing more. It got so bad that certain women's matches would last mere minutes or seconds, just to say that they had them on there and then get them off. The fans weren't happy, nor were the wrestlers. But what could they do? Well, the fans revolted and started trends like "Give the Divas a chance," and things started to change. But in NXT, they didn't change because they didn't need to. Bayley was one of 4 women who stood out in NXT. It took a while to get everything settled, but eventually, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Bayley became known as the 4 Horsewomen because of their impact on the NXT brand, and 3 of them even won the title for themselves during their time there. Each had their own distinct style, their own personality or gimmick, and most importantly of all, they all were loved by fans for one reason or another. They even had a fatal 4-way match for the NXT Women's title at a NXT TakeOver pay-per-view event, one that is still praised to this day and proved that they were the best 4 women on the brand. Getting back to Bayley, her journey had some ups and downs, including getting a broken hand that had to heal up before she could go and accomplish her dream of being champion. But come back she did, and in the course of the weeks, she beat Charlotte Flair, who had lost the title at the time, Becky Lynch, and went on to challenge champ Sasha Banks at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn in a match that is still praised to this day as one of the best women matches ever in NXT. And it was at that event that Bayley finally became a champ. Not to be outdone, their rematch at NXT TakeOver Respect was not only the first women's main event match in NXT history, it was the first 30-minute Iron Man between 2 female athletes in WWE history, proving once again that these 2 were the top of the brand in many ways and deserved to be in that spotlight, and they didn't disappoint. Bayley held on to the NXT title for 233 days before losing to Asuka, the most dominant champ in women's history in many people's eyes, and despite fighting to get it back, she couldn't. But don't worry, more titles were coming her way. Because not long after her final match in NXT, Bayley helped continue the women's revolution by going to Monday Night Raw, which to the delight of the entire crowd. She once again went on a chase for gold, and this time was targeting old friend and rival Charlotte Flair in order to be champ. It took her some doing and a lot of matches, but on February 13, 2017, she beat Flair on Monday Night Raw in order to become the Raw Women's Champion, a title she would go on to defend many times, including winning her first ever WrestleMania match. Though she would eventually lose the match, her title reign was still noted. Bayley floated around the brands for a while, taking on minor feuds until she and Sasha Banks tried to make a big push in the WWE by making something new, a true women's tag team division. The idea had been done before by other brands, but never by WWE. Bayley and Sasha came together to make the Boss and Hugs connection, a spin-off of the legendary Rock and Sock connection via The Rock and Mick Foley. And they did indeed get to make the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, and they were the inaugural champs. However, despite being the first champs, their reign was incredibly short. So much so that many fans think that the WWE forced it off them to support another tag team, and not so ironically. Ever since the women's tag team titles were taken off Bayley and Sasha, they have been mostly irrelevant, including them barely being defended by the current champs of Asuka and Kairi Sane. Anyway, after their loss of the tag titles, Sasha and Bayley split up, and this led to Bayley becoming the Money in the Bank winner later in 2019, which she immediately cashed in on Charlotte Flair when she beat Becky Lynch to become champ at the pay-per-view. And this is where things got a little weird in the eyes of many fans, because over the course of her SmackDown title reign, she turned heel for the first time in her career with WWE/NXT. She even used dirty tactics, like an exposed turnbuckle to defeat foes like Charlotte in record time, which the fans did not enjoy at all. To further her heel turn, Bayley also adorned a new ring attire, as well as a new haircut that reminded many people of Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. In her debut of this new look, she cut down the Bayley Buddies, inflatable balloons, and won back-to-back title from Flair that she had lost a few days prior at pay-per-view. This heel turn even brought in a new ring attitude and theme song, where she lambasted the fans for their wavering in support of her despite all she had done for them. Since then, she has been in full heel mode and continues that to this day. The reason for this being weird is that, while she's okay as a heel, many wonder why it happened at all. When she was a face, she was one of the biggest pops the building would get when she came out. The fans loved the face form of Bayley. But with the heel form, they're very indifferent. Her recent feuds with Lacey Evans and others have proven that. What's more, she's being treated as more of an afterthought of a champion, which admittedly was used to help her turn heel, but still. And fans have noticed. The Raw's women division is stacked with contenders, while the SmackDown women's division is not, and it's making Bayley look even weaker. Which is sad, because as we've shown before, Bayley is one of the best in the WWE right now. She's one of the reasons the Women's Revolution exists, and why the women's tag team titles exist. She deserves to be champ that is remembered fondly, not occasionally thought of. More than likely, Bayley is going to be a lifer in the WWE, and she's likely okay with that given the fame and wealth and support she's gotten from the brand since her time in WWE. Where she goes from there in terms of personality and wrestling is unclear, but she'll be one to watch out for in 2020, that's for sure. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the story of Bayley? Have you been a fan of her for a while? Where does Bayley rank in your mind among the women of WWE right now? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe. And thank you for watching YPW, the channel dedicated to all things wrestling. If you like this video, make sure you check out some of our other videos, and to be notified when we release new videos, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Until next time.